Hello everyone, it's Hanny. I had a few requests. I made these specimen cards. I don't know how you call them, and it's just a word. It could be a journaling card too. And well, I had some requests. They asked me if I wanted to do a how-to video. Well, of course I want to do that. I made these two, and I made a few more. Of this one is a video. I put a link well, in the description and their iCard of this little guy. And I made two little ones. So I make them with dry flowers, and this is a napkin. Well, you can put anything between it, but you have to consider that you have two sides. So, well, and I like it so you can see through it. And there is a technique to make napkins or other papers well, translucent, how do you call that? This is not completely transparent like this, but you can see through it. I don't know if I have a text, something I can show you, a book page. You see, you can see through it. I hope you can see it. Okay, what do you need? Well, I have my dry flowers here. I want to make something like that, maybe a bit smaller, maybe the same size, I'm not sure. But if I use this punch, I have a punch, and this is 2.5. I'm not, yes, no, this is 2 inches, a 2 inches punch. I have a 2.5 too, but that's a bit bigger, and I have smaller ones, and I have a square one. I used that one with this piece, and you can just cut it with your cutting machine. You can do another form. I have a die cuts, well, sort of, you can cut them out, different shapes, form, no, not form, shapes. What are you going to need? Well, I'm going to need, well, maybe this one. This is a bit too big. I put that back again. The lavender is a bit too big too. I'm going to use one of these flowers with, maybe with this punch. That's the right size, 2.5 inch punch. It's a bit too big for this punch, but you can just cut with knife and a ruler a piece out of a piece of a square out of a piece of paper, and you can use your cutting machine if you have one. So I think I'm going to use this flower, and I'm going to use a napkin with a butterfly on it. So we'll lay these apart. What you can use for the body. Sorry, I'm a bit clumsy today with my language. Sometimes I have that. Well, you can use playing cards, collage it, paint it. You can use index cards. This is a big one, but you can use a small one. Just package old cards you don't use, old big playing cards, just plain cardstock. You could use your master board if you have made a master board with all kinds of pieces. And what I did before is this is a 12 by 12 piece of scrapbook paper. It's sturdy. I painted it. I didn't like it. This is the back, but I didn't like the pattern on it, so I painted over it, and well, now I like it. And this is another piece of painted paper. You can glue. It's too thin to make a card, but you can glue it on a piece of cardstock. So that you can use. What I'm going to use is, I think I'm going to use those cards and the painty paper. You can collage it. You need 2 cards or one big big piece of cardstock, so you can fold it in 2 if you want to. You can cover the back. This is the front, but you can cover the back with plain paper. I used coffee dyed paper, and you can use just this paper. Oh, this is another piece of cardstock you can use to make the cards. And these are digitals. You can cover the page with, well, lots of possibilities, but I'm going to use those 2 cards, I think, to make the big one. I'm going to use this sponge. Just see if it fits. Yes, that's a nice size, and I could use those 2 and paint them the way I did here. I painted this myself. You can paint it on a piece of paper and then glue it on, or you can paint it on the cardstock itself. Or maybe I'm going to use those 2. No, I think this is good enough. And this paper I'm going to use, I like that with this flower. So that's what I'm going to use for this. Or this one. I like that more. No, for this one. So this is going to be one, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to paint that, at least one. And I'm going to use a butterfly with that. So I don't use those. What you further need is, like I said, maybe some coffee paper for the background, for the back. And scissors, of course, a cutting machine. Oh yeah, and this is some kind of well, you know what I mean. Acetate, something like that. And I have this stamp. It's an unknown brand from China. I used it on here. And I draw the lines myself. I like that stamp. You can stamp it on the card itself or on a piece of paper, then cut it out. We'll see. And I have my folks numbers. I'm going to use one of those. I made these two video in the corner up there and in the description below how I made these ones. So I'm going to use one of those. That's it, I think. Oh yeah, and you can sew around it if you want to, but you don't have to. Oh yeah, and of course ink, distress ink, and I want to color this one. I'm going to use more distress inks. So, well, I start with number 1. I'm going to use that flower, those 2 cards, and the paper. And the first thing I'm going to do is glue the paper on one of the cards, at least at one of the cards. So I'm going to use some fabric glue. Maybe you can use a glue stick or matte medium or something like that. Well, I will do it with my finger. You can do it with a little card, but just this way. Piece of baby wipe to clean my finger. This. And I'm gluing my painted paper on like so. That's easy. Cut it out. Maybe I should wait a bit longer so it's dry, but I'm impatient. And the corners I will do later with a corner punch. So, well, I have to wait a bit because it has to dry. The glue, wet glue. And what sorry for my language. What I'm going to do now is punch a hole in it, and I have to use a big hole. And you can draw a square. You have to decide or to measure the center of the card. And I'm doing it in centimeters, or in inches, 3.5, no, it's 8.5 centimeters, so that's 4.25. That's the middle. So I'm going to draw a line so I know what the center is. I only have to do that with one, and I'm going to fetch my punch. And if you want to cut a square out of it, well, you have to measure the width of the square, and that's in inches, 2.5 inch by, well, 2.5, I think. Square is it's nice. So you can do 2.5 by 2.5 inch. You have to measure that out and then cut it out with the knife and ruler, or like I said, you can use a die cut for that, or a punch. So I'm going to use this punch, and this is the middle. And I'm going to, that's the middle and that's the middle. There are little marks on the punch, so you can, that's the middle and that's the middle. So I'm going to punch this, and I have a beautiful circle to use later on. I could stamp on this a bit. Maybe I do that. I like that. I have a text stamp. Or maybe I could use this stamp. That's nice too. And I'm going to use dark brown ground espresso. Oh, it doesn't stick anymore, this one. Well, I will do it this way. Just stamp on it a bit. So that's good enough. Yeah, like that. Now I'm going to do the second card and just laying it on the first card. And draw a circle. So I know where to punch. That should be okay. Yes, that fits. Before gluing some acetate in it, I will distress the inside to get rid of the white card. You will see through it. So like that. Now I'm going to glue the acetate. Yes, this is okay. Between it. It has to be double. Scissors here. Well, I'm going to cut this piece off because there's a fold in it and I don't like folds. It's double and I leave this intact, so I don't know what's the matter with me today. I can't think very well, so it's difficult for me to explain it in a foreign language. So that's the size I want to have. So it's double, you see, and I'm going to put this in between just to See if it fits. Yes, it fits. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is, it doesn't matter which one you use first, which one, the back or the front. Just putting some glue on it and smear it out with my fingers again, because when you don't, you will have smear it on your acetate. So I will do it this way and some more over here. Like that. The acetate. Oh, I have glue on it with my dirty fingers. I will clean it, I hope. And if it's not clean, well, I will fetch a new piece. No, it's clean enough. It's clean enough. Oh. Well, it doesn't matter if you have the top on top or like this. You have to stay in between the borders. So I want to have it this size, so I'm going to cut a little piece off. And I will lay it in between. And maybe with a little piece of tape, just to hold it in place. Like so. So that's okay. A bit glue here on the corners. And with the border, just, you don't have to use that much glue, just to hold it in place like that. Then I'm going to glue, or put glue on this side of the card, the same way. And then I'm going to glue the whole card. I put glue on the whole card. Oh. Because I have to glue them together now. Some glue here. So there's glue everywhere. Cleaning my fingers. And I will glue this on top. So the circles will match. Like so. And now I have to let it dry. So it's not dry yet, but I can start with the back. And I was a bit stupid because I should have glued the back first and then punch it, because, well, then it was okay now, but now I have to measure again. Well, the best way is just to cut a piece that's a bit bigger than the card. Then punch a hole in the middle, or punch the hole in the middle, something like that. Oh, the paper is too thin, so I'm going to use another piece, or a piece of book paper with it, so it's a bit thicker, so it will punch better in the middle, and just punch a hole, because I did punch a hole earlier, and, well, you see it's not good, so that's why I'm doing it this way. And it's a bit, the punch is not sharp anymore, I'm afraid. Well, the paper is so thin, it's just copy paper. So now we'll glue it on, and I can do that with, oh, with a glue stick. Well, like I said, don't do it this way, just glue it on first. So it will be much easier to handle. You see, this is not very beautiful. I did smudge some glue again. Now it's good. Cut it. Well, I'm almost ready. It has to dry. Before punching the corners. I can stamp on it, but then I won't use, or maybe a little one, because the card is not, well, I have not enough space to do both, and the number and the name. I have another stamp though. Could use that one, a small one. I have this stamp. Could use that stamp instead of this one. Oh, this is not the same. Maybe I have another one over here. Yes, I have, but they are too wide, too big. No, I'm going to use that stamp. This one is coming from here. Stamp. I'm going to do that with black archival ink. well, it's a cheap stamp. You can see it because it's not very well, maybe my head is in the way. I'm sorry, but I have to center it. So a stamp. The stamp is grungy of its own. See? And now I could draw a line in it. Maybe I do that. Just a little line, so you can write the flower name on it if you want to. And now a little number, maybe this one. A little number on it. I like that. So this is number 1. It's not ready yet because I have to punch the corners and distress, and maybe some sewing around it. So this is number 1. I will finish it later when it's dry, and then I'll show you again. And now I'm going to make number 2, and that is going to be the butterfly. So now I'm going to, this is, well, it's not a napkin, but a handkerchief. How do you call those things? And I have to, well, memo cards. I don't know what for cards it is, but it's cardstock. Should I do a circle or a square? I like the circle though. I have to punch in a piece of paper. This is not the right one. This is just to see if it's big enough. Yes, it's possible. It's possible. So I'm going to cut the one in the middle. And I hope it's big enough. Just see again if it fits. Yes, it fits. Okay. I'm going to get the top layer, only the top layer. And now I'm going to wax it. And I did that in a previous video before, but I will show you again. I have my iron on, so it's going to be hot, I hope. What I have is, where do I have it? What you need is some baking papers. One moment, I'm getting it. There's still wax on it. You see, there's still wax on it. I have beeswax, and that's okay, but it's not white, it's brownish. So I prefer, in this case, I prefer such a thing, Waxina Light. Don't know how you call it. Well, and I do it with a grater, but I don't have it, so you need a grater. But I have enough pieces here, I think, I can use. But if you have a grater, and I recommend one of my previous videos, in which I make this little card. I did the same there. So I'm putting this on here and some wax on it. And like I said, you can do that with a grater, and then you have little pieces of grater. Is that the right word? So this is baking paper, so it won't stick. And then you see it melts. Let it dry for a bit. Cool it off, or not dry, yes, dry and cooling. Well, and then you have your transparent, translucent, well, you can see through it. You see? You can read the text between it, through it. Yes, aan de huizen die zij spraken om elkaar haar. Yes, you can read it. So that's okay. For now I'm going to punch. I'm going to punch holes again. Oh no, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint it. This pieces. And I painted it with distress inks, and which colors will I use? I could use the blue one again, but I like purple. Which one more? Dusty, like this one, Dusty Concord. Dusty Concord. Where are you? The Dusty Concord. Crushed, now what? No. Dusty Concord. And maybe some green. Maybe some green. Or crushed olive, like that. Oh, this one. So, sorry that it takes so long. My acrylic block. Just put some ink on it. Some water. This is distress ink. It's not not oxide ink, not. Well, there was some brown on it. And maybe I should do it on coffee dyed paper. Well, I have to have some brown too. Well, I will do that later. I will crushed olive now. Like that. We'll dry it. Well, the color is gone now, so I will do it again. And I think I'm going to use a bit blue going with it. Just because I like it. I like the blue. A bit purple again. Ground espresso. I did that with the other ones too, to make it a bit darker. Well, and then I will quit putting ink on it. So this is the card. It's very different from this one because I used other colors, but these are the colors that fits with the butterfly. This was the punch I'm going to use, yes. So I'm going to punch this now. And I want to have the middle, the center, and that's 8.5. This one is 8.5 centimeters. 8.5. So that's 4, something like that. And I'm not going to make the mistake again I made with the previous card. So I'm going to punch it, so I'm going to put it to the end. So. And a beautiful circle again to use in other projects. So that is going to be the card. Now I'm going to glue some paper on this card. Could do the same thing with the back, but I like well, more plain paper on it. Glue it on, cut it out, Then lay it up, line it up. Well, the back is a bit bigger than this side. And now punch it out. Or cut it out, whatever. So now it does punch better. You see? That's the way you should do it. Distressing the inside of the circle so we get rid of the white. And you have a little border around it. So that's it. Now a piece of acetate. I have, where's the other piece? Don't know. Well, I will use this one. Scissors. Like so. Now I have to decide what piece I want to show, like that or something like that. No, then you miss the, it has to be this way. So I will line it up with the top and cutting it a bit lower. Like so. Now I'm going to glue this on the same way I did with the other one. On the inside, of course. Like that. Keep focus on this so you keep it clean. And if you don't keep it clean, just wipe it off before the glue dries. So that's okay. So that's why I did it a bit lower. Okay, that's, and just tape it again with a little piece of masking tape or painter's tape so it won't move again. Oh. then glue this a bit. So let it dry for a bit. Now gluing this piece, the whole piece. So do that with my fingers. Cleaning my fingers because you never know. Oops. And now gluing, trying to glue this on the right way. Just focus on the circle, because you can adjust it a bit later, like so. Well, you can read through it still, yes. You can't see it very well, but it's translucent. What's the difference? Translucent, transparent? No idea. But you can see through it, and both sides are equal. This is the back. And I showed you before in the previous video when you have show you one layer, the top layer. Well, the back is white. You see, the back is white. This is only the top layer. Well, that's a difference, isn't it? That's white. Oh no, it's not only the top layer, sorry. It's a bit too white, but it's white. It was the second layer too. This is the top layer. Well, you see the difference. So, it's wet. This is a bit more dry. I think I can punch the corners. I have to stand up. Oh, I can't punch. I have no strength. Well, it doesn't work. It's too thick. So I have to cut. Try this one. No, that doesn't work either. Oh, I shouldn't shout that much because my mouth is in the microphone right now because I'm standing up. Well, just pushing a bit so I know where to cut. You can see it. And this one. Those were the playing cards, yes. Oh, this one works well. It's not perfect, but good enough. Now I'm going to distress the edges a bit, and I'm going to sew around it, but you don't have to. So this is number one. I had some rings around this because I like that, and I can do that. But yeah, I do that with this sponge and this sponge. I make a ring. Can show you how I do it. But if you don't have the punches, well, it's a bit difficult then. Could use this paper again. I will first do the little one, but I'm just measuring, yeah. And I hope, come on, well, I have enough room for the big one. I have. Just center it like that. Whoopee! And now I can glue this around. No, I can't. I can't do it with this big one because I have to have a bigger one than this, because this is going to go inside, so that's not possible. But with the butterfly it is. You see, with the butterfly I can use it because the inner circle is the 2-inch, so I can't use one here. Yes, I have to cut it by hand then, but I'm not going to do that. And I don't have a 3-inch punch. That's a bit too big for me. So I'm going to sew around this. And now I'm going to do this first. No, I could do it on this side, but I don't do that. I won't. Maybe I'm going to glue it on this side. I'm not sure yet. Stamp. You can glue something else on it, of course. You can glue a label on it, so you can write on it. Oh yes, what I wanted to do this time, I could do that. Use this one again, this stamp. And just stamp it on here with black. Cut it out. Could do a square, but I could do this way. Not a square, but a rectangle. I leave a little border around it, but you don't have to, of course. But, well, I'm lazy and I don't like fussy cutting, so I'm doing it this way. I'm not good at it. Could do it that way. Glue it on. I will do it over there. Oh, maybe I should distress the edges a bit. You should do that first, of course. But hey, I have my day today. And draw a line or 2 lines and maybe a number, a long small one. Oh, this one is too big. Yeah, I want a small number, maybe this little one. Like so. And where is my pencil? No, not my, yeah, my pencil. My marker. This one. And my ruler. It's a big mess over here. Here is my ruler. This is going to be the first line. And this is going to be the second one. Something like that. It's a bit wet. No, I'm not going to do that. Maybe it will bunch. Standing up again. No, it doesn't want to. Maybe I should wait till it's dry. You don't have to do it, of course. Bunch it. But I like it. Yes, I have these. No, this one I haven't. But the others I rounded the corners too. Yep. There's a little white border over there. So now I'm going to distress with vintage photo the corners or the outside of, how do you call that? The edges. So you can use it as a journaling card, journal on this. Okay, oh, and I'm going to sew around this one too, but like I said, you don't have to. This is number 2. Where is number 1? It's gone already. Oh, here it is. Oh. So I made these 2 today. One with a dried flower and one with a piece of, well, napkin. I'm going to sew around it and then I'll be back to show you how that looks. These are the 2 cards, and I sewed around it. You see? This is a straight stitch, and this is a little zigzag stick. Well, I hope you have fun making these cards. I have. And I will thank you for watching. Bye bye.